All right, everyone. Welcome to the Rutgers Rant Postgame Show. I am Pat Lanny here with Steve Politi. Rutgers 60, Norfolk State 10. It was about everything you kind of expected in this one. Rutgers rolled, took care of business. So we'll get this thing started. Brian Fonseca is heading down to the press conferences right now, and then we'll break it all down. So just so you know, Steve Politi is back at home. Yeah. But he was here in the stands with you guys during this game. So, Steve, tell me how this is possible. You're on camera in your home in Montclair, but you were here at the game.
Anybody who has a teenager would understand this. But I went to the game with my son, brought him to his first game. We had a great time. But he ran at it. He's like, you know what? Do we really get to stay for this entire thing? And I was like, I kind of agreed with him. So after midway through the third quarter, we kind of hightailed it out of there. Got back in the car, stopped for food, still managed to get home in Montclair. I don't even live in like East Brunswick. I live in Montclair. Still managed to get home before the end of the second half. So that's how long the college football games are, Pat. What are you gonna say about that?
It's pretty incredible. Well, Listen, I got some good stats for you. I got some good action. So I want to thank everyone for joining us here right now. We'll be taking your questions. So drop them in the comments section. And we'll break down all the action. But first, I got a stat for you because a lot of the talk this week was college football. Where are we headed here? Rutgers, one of many teams playing against an FCS opponent this week. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 games that I counted in the Big Ten alone this week, whether it was last night or today. Right. Penn State, Villanova, Michigan State, Youngstown State, Nebraska, Houston Christian, Maryland versus Towson, Indiana versus Indiana State, Rutgers versus Norfolk State. So those 6 games, the combined score were 329 to 58. And it just makes you wonder, I give credit to the fans that stuck this out, but what are we doing here?
Makes you wonder what we're doing. Exactly. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Yeah, and it's funny because I think the fans were, at least where I was sitting, they were kind of getting a little antsy early on, just because you just thought that you looked at the mismatch on the field and you thought they should be up, 35-0 after 2 minutes. It just took a little while for the offense to get going. They blocked the punt early. They got the next one, and you're like, all right, this is not going to be a game. Just kind of name your score. But, I don't know if it was the day that the Rutgers fans expected, even though they won 60-10, as crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, unbelievable. Okay, let's talk about the punt blocks because that obviously changed the game. It's just become such a ritual here, like tradition at Rutgers. Some incredible stats. This is the 76th overall blocked kick for Rutgers under Schiano. 46 of those have been punts. They did have some questions of whether the first one was a punt block or not. It went back and forth there in the press box. What happened was Kaj Sanders destroyed the punter, but didn't block the ball. The punt got off his foot, and it hit. I forget who it hit, but he, caught it and ran it back for a touchdown. It ended up being ruled a punt block. This is all nerdy stuff. Anyway,
it's a punt block. Yeah.
This is the stat that really blew my mind. This is the 16th game with multiple punt blocks for Rutgers under Schiano. So in 16 games, in 17 years, Rutgers has blocked at least 2 punts in a game. That's incredible.
Yeah. They were lining up for one in the second quarter, and I was wondering, I wonder if any team has blocked 3 punts for touchdowns in one half. I was thinking that because it looked like, at that point, clearly Norfolk State was A, spooked, and B, just didn't have fundamentals. Because the second one was just, like 6 guys could have gotten there and blocked it. So I just wondered if they were ever going to get one off. But yeah, that's a weapon. It's been a weapon for the entirety of Greg Schiano's tenure. And it's noticeable against bad teams, but they do it against good teams too. So, special teams won this game for Rutgers early on, and that's even when they didn't play well. I'm sure he's could be talking about 2 point afters that didn't get converted. One got blocked. That wasn't the finest, crispest game. The people in my section were just, they had no idea what was going on with the onside kick.
That was bizarre. Yeah, that was bizarre.
Not only to attempt it, but then to kick it 5 yards. People were, what the hell was that? Like, I don't know. Yeah, not that it certainly didn't matter. They intercepted the pass on that same possession. But there's certainly some things that special teams didn't do well in. But punt blocks this season, game changer.
Certainly. Okay, let's not take away too much big picture here from Rutgers versus Norfolk State. But again, offense was efficient. Everyone did their job. It even seemed with Ian Strong out, maybe a little sluggish to start, but eventually certainly found his groove. Ethan Kaliakmanis finished 18 for 26, 309 yards and a touchdown. Yeah. They were basically doing whatever they wanted. The defense, though, there were still some big plays, some head-scratching missed tackles, and the pressure was good but not great. Both sides of the ball. Big picture, what's your takeaway?
Yeah, 2 sacks for I was surprised that number. 6 tackles for loss is good. Won the turnover battle. I get it, but I guess I wasn't blown away by the defense again. Sure. Good. Good, but not great. It was not a dominant performance. There was just, it seemed like rush yards 128 for Norfolk State, 27 carries. That's those are decent numbers. Seem like they got free a bunch in the secondary. Yeah, it was just not the clean game I think Rutgers hoped for.
Yeah, heading into Iowa next week, you thought maybe this will be the game that the defense cleans some things up, and you feel a little bit better about it heading into Iowa. Yeah, I'm kind of wishy-washy on it. I felt like it was what it was against the inferior opponent.
Right. I mean, I guess for me though, the thing that's you wanted to get through this game without a serious injury, and Rutgers, it appears that they did not. CJ Campbell, he could not put any weight on his leg when he was coming off the field. That's bad. I guess Greg Shannon, we're going to hear Brian's down there. We'll ask Greg Shannon. Someone will ask Greg Shannon about Ian Strong. That's the biggest concern of all. If you were to rank for me, if you were to list the 10 most indispensable players for this Rutgers team, Ian Strong might be number 2, might be number 3 below. I mean,
no doubt. He's right there. Ethan and Ian Strong.
You hope it's a disciplinary thing. Have you doing anything else?
Tyler Needham was banged up probably right around the time you left the game. He did not return, but it was unclear whether he left for good because the starters were pulled at that point. Right. But again, a concern there on the offensive line. You're already down your starting left tackle. Needham was a swing guy that is a starter caliber. To lose 2 tackles in 2 weeks would be pretty devastating for the offensive line.
Kosh Sanders went out and came back in.
Yeah.
So that's good news.
Kosh played better in this game, I thought. Obviously, on special teams, he made 2 great plays, but I thought he was better. I know there had been some questions about him lately.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall. And lastly, one of the other big things people are going to be talking about coming out of this game was the official start of AJ Sarace, his first career game. He looked pretty good. Threw 2 touchdowns, one to Dino Kaliakmanis, which was a special moment for anyone that was still here. He got to see it, or they showed on TV. The 2 brothers, Dino and Ethan, celebrating that. A very special moment for sure. So let's start with that. The brothers. Let's start with the brothers and then talk about AJ.
I wonder if Ethan's a little bit peeved that he don't want to get to throw the pass to him. But no, I mean, no. But it is sort of like a passing of the torch thing, literally, figuratively. I'm glad that he got a chance to at least throw the ball. I thought he might be in the game a little earlier. Yeah. But he did get a full quarter. Did get, they certainly let him run the offense. And that, I guess my one takeaway was he looks good, but the other one was that, the young receivers. I get it. Like this is not the best secondary in the world, but they by all accounts, they're going to be okay.
Yeah, it's the second string lineup definitely held its own there. Some interesting notes I just jotted down on some of the guys that obviously saw a lot of true freshmen, but one that stood out to me was Chris Vigna came in on the second string offensive line at right guard. He was a pretty big recruit out of Bergen Catholic. To see him right out there out of the gate was pretty interesting. We didn't see the 2 linebackers. I thought Kimar Archie and DJ McClary, they did not play, but Chris Vigna was out there. Ice Cup. I'm not even going to try to say his last name.
Ice Cup.
Defraginite, yes. The receiver. And Vernon Allen was out there as well, a true freshman, but he got banged up. So we'll see if he's okay to add to the list.
Right. Yeah. A little glimpse of the future, not maybe not as much as we would have expected, but it was certainly, yeah. And I will say there's some guys who were certainly are part of the future, like Ben Black, guys who haven't, they played in the past, but it was, guys in my section were dying for him to get some passes. He finally did. Got the touchdown.
Yeah.
Yep. He was open. He was open a lot. It was a good day for some of the younger players.
No doubt about it. So it's Pat Lanny here with Steve Politi. We're talking on the Rutgers Rant post-game show. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments section here on YouTube. We'll try to take them as we get them. Brian Fonseca's down at the press conference. I know he wanted to specifically ask Michael Vick a couple things, so he's down there first, and then we'll wait for what Schiano says. But give me a Schianoism for the day. What do you think? What do you think his reaction to this game was?
That's a good question.
Business.
Business. Yeah. Every game has a life of its own kind of thing. That's good. That might be at special teams. I'm sure it's going to be a big conversation. I don't think he's going to like a lot of the crispness of it. Maybe. But 60-10, he's going to like. He's going to like getting it out of the way. Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me. The game certainly did take on a life of its own early. Like, you thought Rutgers was going to come out of the gate and kind of blast this thing open, but it didn't necessarily happen that way. The pump blocks was one thing, and then eventually Rutgers kind of just showed its superiority. So I think Schiano's takeaway was this was a day in the office. You got to see some of the younger players. You got a lot of guys in, and everyone, for the most part, played very well. And the injuries will be concerning, and I'm very curious to what he says about Ian Strong, whether that was an injury, whether he'll reveal whether there was an injury in practice or something he sustained in the game. He's just a little dinged up. Curious for what his answer is there, because that certainly was big news before the game, discussed throughout it, and will be the talking point after the game.
Again, he's a guy. Another guy changes the ceiling on the season, certainly, especially this week. You need him. You need him. Absolutely. Yeah, that would be a terrible blow. You hope it's not serious, but certainly, even if it's the minorest of things against Norfolk State, you're not playing them.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so this first question comes from Trevor Mild. We didn't see as much as Surace as we hoped. Do you think Shannon will try to find another opportunity to get him in the rest of the season as a warm-up for next year? Good question, Trevor. What do you think, Lady? You're hitting the Big Ten schedule. I don't foresee many opportunities there.
Yeah, what is the next best chance for that? It's a good question. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, is it the kind of when you have a series? You have a series. I don't think he's the kind of player that's so different from Ethan that you're gonna want to mix him in. I don't think you have to. I'm not sure when we're going to see him again. Maybe Purdue. That's kind of late in the year. You can go on the road. What
about if it goes the wrong way against a Penn State or Ohio State? Would you put him in there?
It's a good point. It's late in the year, so that might be. Yeah, I could see that. That's a good point. I think the bowl game, if it gets to that point, but we're looking way down the line at that point. Yeah.
No doubt.
I wouldn't. Okay. I guess I wouldn't count on seeing him anytime soon. It's certainly the next. I mean, look at the next month of games.
Absolutely.
No way.
Season's on the line, right?
They're not going to be up forget it.
Schiano and Rutgers Nation as a whole is knocking on my desk here, and knock on wood that Ethan Caligmanis stays healthy, of course. All right. This one is from our big fan, Simos. We definitely need Ian Strong next week. Any updates on his injury? What would we say, Politi? What we know is that it seemed like it was a day-to-day kind of thing. It popped up. Yeah. We didn't have any notice about it before today. That's all I know from being here in the press box. I'm sure Greg Schiano will be asked that probably the first question here in the post game. Right. So
I don't know. I didn't get the vibe, the panic vibe, like sometimes you get from people. But we're guessing. We really are. Yeah.
Right. We don't know. And as we know, for covering this team for 3 years, we're not probably going to know either.
Yeah. Well, he would think he would give you, I don't know. We'll see. I hope he would say something, that we're not worried long-term or something like that, at least, that we would have some sense of it. And do we know it's an injury? So let's just wait. This is one of these. I like the post-game urgency. Get talking about it. But this is one of these things. Let's just wait a half an hour and see what he says.
Absolutely. All right, you want to hop into grade the players, Steve?
Yeah, do it.
All right. Ethan Caligmanis, quarterback, 18 of 26, 309 yards, touchdown, 0 interceptions, 69% completion rate.
I'm going to still give him a B, as crazy as that sounds.
300 yards, Steve.
No, I can't. All right. Guess that's the B+. All right. Actually, he wouldn't give himself an A. I really do. If you had asked him, he had a couple throws. It's funny. Like there were some times there were a couple of fly patterns, and you just wanted them to keep on doing it. That he missed. They had the one penalty turn back on Sheffield, missed him again, missed Duff long on one. There were a couple that he was just looked like my son using the logo. The quarterback's going through it. That's like using the logo. Yeah, I guess that's Jen.
It's over my head. That's
going through it. Yeah, he's going through it. All the feels, man. So
all the feels.
You
could see the frustration though. He was visibly frustrated. He missed a couple of those throws. I thought it was encouraging that he did come back and hit more down the line. And we haven't talked about this yet. KJ Duff's one-handed catch.
Yeah.
Oh my God, unbelievable.
Yes, yeah, it's amazing. It really was. Yeah, Amy Mills, our great photographer, has a photo of it that he did get in, but at the time I thought like, there's no way that's a catch. Yeah. That's got to be overturned. But then you saw the replay, you're like, oh, wait a minute, I think that's a catch. Yeah, that was a. And to think that he is, second best on the team as far as making these crazy catches to his former high school teammate Ian Strong and catching in traffic. I mean, it is amazing. He lined up today. I thought when he lined up against the 6'6", he lined up against the cornerback for Norfolk State. It looked like he was 5'4". I thought he was going to have 300 yards. Still 6 for 119 on 9 targets. Not bad.
Okay. All right. What would you give KJ Duff today without his tag team partner Ian Strong? KJ Duff, you just read the line. Incredible game, incredible moment in this game. What would you give him?
I'm going to give him an A on that. Absolutely, yeah. And he was open for it could have been more, but it's hard for his first 100-yard game. Giving him an A. You?
Absolutely, yeah. I thought he stepped up in the moment, had a signature moment. Was terrific. Special teams as a whole, Steve. I'm going to include everything: the pump blocks, the kicking game. Yeah. How would you grade the special teams? It's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's hard not to give when the special team scores 2 touchdowns. I do not see any way you can't give them an A. And, but I'm sure that they are not happy with some of the stuff that happened overall. But yeah, I have to give them an A on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Pass rush. This is something we've given a grade out here the first 2 weeks, and we haven't given a passing grade to the pass rush yet.
No.
Do they get one today from you?
Passing grade, yeah, but it's still average. Yeah. It's a C plus. I don't know. I mean, they're in the backfield. This is not. 2 sacks. It's still. Iowa's coming to town. Another not a great passing offense, certainly. But yeah, I'm just not feeling 100% about this defense, and I would have loved to have seen a game where they're in the backfield for 5 sacks in the quarterback's face, all these guys getting there. It just didn't happen.
I agree. I thought Eric O'Neill played a pretty decent game, led the team in tackles. Yep. Tackles for loss 2.5. Rutgers did have 2 sacks. It was a little bit better, but again, you judge the caliber of competition. Like, you can't bring down. If you can't get to the quarterback against Norfolk State, what's going to be like when you get to Big Ten play? And this has been a big picture problem for Rutgers for 3 years now. So
the biggest problem.
That's the other part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Our next guy on the list, Steve. We got a nickname yet for Jay Patel? 17 kicks in a row now he's made on field goals. He got 2 extra points blocked today.
Right.
That's another story. But this guy has made 17 kicks in a row, and one was from 44 yards today. It wasn't an easy one.
Could have been 8. Could have been 18 there. I was a little stunned. They went for it on a 4th down there late. I don't know what the vibe in the press box was on that.
Yeah.
Especially since we set the line arbitrarily at 44.5, and that was 40. It was 43 points at that point. I'm like, Greg's going to blow the cover. But yeah, they got it, obviously. But yeah, I mean, what can you say about the guy? He's been great. Yeah.
All right, let's round this out. Last guy on the list, Greg Schiano. Coaching performance of today. What would you give Schiano?
I don't know. An average day at the office. I mean, it's his punt block, so you got to give him credit for that. But the defense still looks shaky. I'm going to give it a B. What do you think?
I think everything went Rutgers' way. It'd be kind of hard to not give Schiano an A in this one, just because everything was in control. There was never any question that Rutgers was going to win this game, and that's what it's all about to me. If you want to schedule Norfolk State, you better play the game like it played out today, right? Like, you need to be in control start to finish, and I never felt for 1 second that Rutgers wasn't in control in this one, so I'll give Schiano an A.
Do you think Michael Vick's going to have a bone to pick with throwing in the end zone late? Is that going to be a thing or no?
I don't think so. I think based on his professional career and the competitiveness that he played with, I'd be surprised that he would take that stance. I think he'll be okay with it, especially that. I mean, that was Rutgers' second string, and even Sean Ashenfelter, the quarterback, was in there at the end. The Rutgers played their third quarterback in this game. I don't see it. It never felt like Rutgers was running it up to me.
Right. I agree with you, and not just because Otis the dog just walked in here.
Otis.
I really don't care. Bad things happen to Michael Vick still. I know he served this time, but sorry, dog lover here. Not gonna forgive and forget that one.
That's how things roll here on the Rutgers Rant postgame. You never know what's going to happen. Otis,
you never know.
Michael Vick. All right, let's see if we have any more questions here. Here's another one from Trevor. Is the lack of sacks more in the defensive line not finishing, or the secondary not clamping down enough and allowing QBs to believe they have guys open earlier in that play?
What do you think?
I've kind of just felt that the pressure isn't there to begin with. And I think that's on the defensive linemen that aren't winning at the point of attack. I think that's the biggest thing. So to me, it's you got to beat the guy in front of you, and Rutgers isn't doing it. That's a big problem.
Not getting there fast enough, not wrapping them up when they do. There's still a couple times, like even one of the sacks again. Like it took 3 guys to bring him down. Like one of the 2. It was you had all these opportunities, and then you're letting the quarterbacks escape. And it seems like the number of times they get out of the pocket, that's just a big problem. Extending plays. Again, good teams that do this. Some of these teams that are going to come in here, you've watched Oregon, you've watched Ohio State, you've watched Penn State, you watch these. It's going to be rough. It's to me, it's still the biggest concern, and by a long way.
Yeah. Okay. I know a couple of weeks ago you were talking about the secondary was maybe just as big a concern, if not bigger. How do you feel about that? Secondary improving or just hard to tell off a Norfolk State game?
It's hard to tell off Norfolk State. I mean, the interception, the Jetty lad, was there anybody within?
No.
I know,
there wasn't.
I mean,
complete wrong route. It was the complete wrong
route. Yeah, it's just stuff like that. I don't know. I mean, this it's difficult. It's really difficult to see. I will be so many reasons why. I mean, not just the fact that I think this Iowa game is going to determine where this season goes for this team. If they win this, then suddenly you're like, all right, let's go. This really, it's going to be same as last year with Washington. Only, I just think this is going to be the pivotal game here, and not just that. I want to see what this defense is going to do against a below average Big Ten offense. I just want to see what's going to happen in that game.
I think there's a good chance that Rutgers makes Iowa's below average offense look extraordinary. I think that's a big concern. So let's jump ahead and we'll close things out here. What's the biggest thing you're looking for next week against Iowa? What should fans kind of be zoomed in on?
Yeah, I want to know how Rutgers. I want to see how they're going to defend the run. That's another thing we're talking about. We read off the numbers. They weren't eye popping, but it's still Norfolk State 128 yards, 27 carries, 4.7 average. I think that's a big thing. If Iowa can run the ball against Rutgers, when they have to worry about the passing game, they can control the clock. They can keep Rutgers offense off the field. I think that's going to be one of the big things that I want to see. I'm also interested to see what's the atmosphere like. How do people feel about this team? What's the vibe going to be in that stadium on a Friday night? You had the week off this week. It wasn't obviously the people who came enjoyed a breezy day. It's nice weather. Okay, but is the place going to be packed to the gills? You should hope so.
Yeah, you would think.
This one, you should hope so.
This was an incredible moment. If you stuck around here long enough at SHI Stadium, I think in the final 3 minutes, I don't know if it was a teaser or a little preview of what's next, but the video team rolled a preview of the blackout, and it was like, this is Rutgers, and it was awesome.
There you go.
And I think that this place is going to be absolutely rocking next week, and it's got to be. It's going to be a
pick'em type game on the line. The toss up. The crowd is. This is the kind of game where the crowd can be the difference. It really can, and so you would think that the home field advantage could be a huge thing. It's a big time college football game. This is why you do it. This game. Yeah. This is it. This is why you sit through Norfolk State to get to Iowa on Friday night with a chance to go 4-0. So I should hope it's going to be a good atmosphere. And we'll see if the defense is up to the task.
Offensively, Iowa has always been known as a defensive team. They've had some of the best defenses in the entire Big Ten the last 5 years. Again, looks like a really tough defensive team. how confident are you in this Rutgers offense is going to parlay what it's done the first 3 weeks against one of the best defenses, not only in the Big Ten in the country?
I mean, obviously, is Ian Strong sitting out because of a stubbed toe, or is he sitting out because of a sprained ankle? I don't know. Like, I mean, that's the biggest part of it. Yeah, I guess that's it. Like, I will be confident that they'll be able to score, or at least move the ball, at least have a good performance against a good Big Ten defense if Ian Strong is healthy.
That's a great thing. And Rutgers, it was announced today in the press box, this is the first time ever Rutgers has scored at least 30 or more points, seven games in a row. That's a new Rutgers record. It's never happened before. Huh. Can Rutgers score 30 points against Iowa? I
wouldn't count on that. But that's going to be tough. That's a trade. I wonder what Iowa's last. I like to look at some of the scoring performances for the Hawkeyes.
That's a great point.
This feels like a 24-20 kind. Can Rutgers win that kind of game? And you feel confident if it is that score, home field, Iowa's got the ball in the fourth quarter. How do you feel about this defense being able to close it out? Those to me are the big unknowns.
All right. Well, Steve Politi and Brian Fonseca will be back on Monday to recap the game. But not me. This was my swan song here in the press box. It was really a special day for me here to close out a couple of really good years here at Rutgers. And I want to say thanks to everyone who's followed and read our coverage and given me a pat on the back in the parking lot. It was really, really a fun day here for me and special. So I want to say thanks for following along and all the jazz. It's been great. So stay tuned for NJ.com. We'll be doing big things.
Bravo. I'm going to miss you personally until you call me on Monday when we talk about the other thing you're doing.
What's that other thing, Steve?
How are you calling me already? I thought you were done. Who's this?
All right. Should we leave it there? Rutgers Nation, thank you. 3-0. Big game next week. Iowa, Friday night. We'll see you all there. Steve will see you all there.
All right, Pat.
Adios, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye. All right.